lovelies, my name is Stephanie Lynette and welcome back to my channel. And I wanted to do something a little bit different today because it was my birthday. Ooh. So I just turned 26 years old and I thought something that would be really interesting to do is to write myself a letter, or I guess like more bullet points, write my 16-year-old self a letter to talk about all of the things that she should be proud of, all of the things that she would do differently, and things like that. And I just thought it'd be quite fun to also go through a couple of things. So I have in front of me, this is my leavers book from secondary school. So in the United Kingdom, secondary school is from the age of 11 until the age of 16, and then you go off to college. So this is my leavers book from secondary school, which happened when I was 16, which is 10 years ago now. And this is my yearbook. So I thought, as well as writing a letter to myself, it would be really fun to go through these two things with you, because I don't know, I just thought that'd be quite funny actually. And I have actually written myself a letter. I've done it on just like a notepad, and it's much more bullet points than it is a letter as such. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I realise I've not uploaded for a little while. I've had a lot on and I don't owe you anything, so I hope you're happy to see me back. I'm happy to be back. I'm loving my hair because I did a really good job of it today, although the fringe could have a bit more volume, but that's fine because we're not perfectionists here. So let's get straight into the video, but before we do, if you like my content or you find what I do valuable, feel free to leave a comment just down below, subscribe, all of those things. Okay, so we're gonna crack on with this letter. I'm probably gonna put pictures of myself as a 16-year-old to kind of help illustrate my point. So the first thing I wrote, which I thought might have been a little bit more profound: please stop plucking your eyebrows. 16-year-old Stephanie, I say this directly to you. Please, please stop plucking your eyebrows. You don't need to pluck your eyebrows anymore. Let them grow black. Just please let them grow. Let them grow. Stop plucking them, please, please. Because you're right on the cusp of about to get into slug brows and all of a sudden you won't have any eyebrows left. So please, please, for me, stop plucking your eyebrows. They grow back, but you could have looked a lot better. Okay. Please stop dyeing your hair black. So when I was a teenager, I had this obsession of dyeing my hair like jet black. And I had really, really long hair. Oh, my headband's coming off. Speaking of hair, okay, we're throwing out the fuck I'm old headband, but I hope you appreciated it all the same. So I used to dye my waist length hair jet black, and I've got really, really thick hair. I just had it thinned out by my hairdresser, but I have really, 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 really thick hair. And so I used to dye it jet black, and that was never ideal. So there we go. Oh, this next one's a little bit nicer, okay. Be nicer to your little sister. So my younger sister, Abigail, who we love, shout out to you, Abigail, is a really, really lovely human being. And when she was born, I had been the youngest child for 10 years of my life. And so there was a lot of jealousy, there was a lot of, and she was this like perfect little girl and she had everything that I wanted, and I had all of these questions about my gender identity, and so I had a lot of jealousy towards her that manifested in a really poor relationship with my younger sister. And we're fine now, but I wish we had been closer when I lived at home, and I wish that I had treated her better as a sister. It's one of my biggest regrets in my life that I was so mean to my younger sister growing up and so jealous of her. So yeah, one of the things on my list is to be nicer to my little sister. And also it says to reach out and connect with Auntie Maureen, who was my great aunt on my dad's side, and to my brother. So my older brother's history with my family is quite complicated, and it's not my history to share, so I'm not going to do that. But for whatever reasons, we weren't talking at the time, and I ended up reconnected with him when I was about 18 years old and I was living in London. And so reaching out just a little bit earlier, just to have built that relationship, probably would have been, you know, really, really nice for both of us. And connecting with my Auntie Maureen, so great aunt on my dad's side. She was amazing. She was like this world traveling person. And none of us realized that she was struggling with mental health issues. And she sadly passed away in 2018. And I wish I had reached out to her when I was 16 years old in 2013 and like built a relationship before I went off to university, because it was only at university that we started writing letters to each other. And I feel like we had so much in common that we didn't share. So yeah, that's definitely one of them. Oh my God. Stop trying to impress your older sister. Brackets, it doesn't work. So my older sister, we are the closest in age out of all of my siblings. We're 3 years apart. And as often happens with siblings who are closest in age, we fight all the time, and we have very different opinions on things, and we have very different life experiences. And growing up, I idolized her. She was so pretty and popular, and she had all of the boys fawning around her, and she was like this epitome of what feminine energy kind of represented for me when I was that kind of young age. And so I always really looked up to her. And then growing up, there were several instances where I just realized she wasn't a very good person in terms of how she treated me. I'm sure she's a lovely person to other people, but you know, you have that kind of riffing off of your like older siblings, and for some reason she got away with it and I didn't, and she could dish it out and not take it back. So that was always quite interesting. So yeah, I was Steph doesn't have a fanny, and I was, you know, it was commented on my height and my feet, and you know, my first boyfriend's his last name was Dickinson, and so it was Dick in your son, and like, and those things sound funny, and they are funny. You know, she's a very, very funny person, and I never laugh as much as I do when I'm, you know, with her. But having it again and again, day in, day out, was really kind of grating. And I have no interest in pursuing a relationship with her as a friend. We're very different people. I love her very much as my sister. But yeah, I'm at a place now where I realise that all of those years of trying to convince her that I was worthwhile or that I had achieved something in my life were really wasted, because she doesn't fucking care, and that's fine, because we all have family members that just don't give a shit about what we're doing, and that's okay. So yeah, I'd love to tell my younger self to stop paying fucking attention to your older sister, because her opinion of you means fuck all, and will mean fuck all in the future. I mean, she called you your male name for 1.5 years after you transitioned. Don't worry about her, okay? 16-year-old Stephanie, don't worry about it, okay? Okay, great. So moving on. Oh, this one's really nice actually. Cut your parents some slack, they're okay. So my mum and dad are amazing people, but growing up, both of my parents worked full time like a lot of people do, and so me and my siblings were very competitive for my parents' attention, and it created a lot of divide and things like that. And so there was a lot of an anger between me and my siblings about who was being given more attention, and obviously Abigail, being the younger sibling, got a lot of it, and that made me very angry, and then me transitioning gave me a lot of it, and that made my older sister very angry. And so it was a really it was a very tense place to grow up, not because my parents didn't make it comfortable, but because it was, 3/4 siblings sharing a bathroom with 2 parents and animals, and it was just stressful. And something I wish I had given a little bit more of was I wish I had given my parents a little bit more credit. Although, you know, they don't share my interests, and as a human, I genuinely think it's a parent's responsibility to try and demonstrate some level of interest in their child's hobbies or passions. I genuinely think my parents did a phenomenal job. They're incredibly supportive of me and my transition, and everyone makes mistakes. You know, they made mistakes, I made mistakes, and I love them both very, very much, and we're very, very different people. But yeah, I really wish that my younger teenage self could see past all of that anger and all of that competitive energy and be much nicer to my parents, because they're really lovely people. Okay. Date Craig. So this has a bracket. Don't let judgment stop you. So when I was 16 years old, just a little bit of a backstory, I started seeing a boy who had recently broken up with an ex-best friend of mine. So, you know, that classic school drama. And I don't know what my like very old childhood best friend thought happened, but he really, really cared about me, and he was the first person to let me see value in myself as a romantic prospect, because obviously I was 16 and I transitioned in school, and so all of that kind of romantic development, it kind of didn't happen for me because everyone was ostracized if they showed any interest in me. So he was really the first person who made me feel like a valid romantic option. And for some reason, when I was 16 years old, I was so frightened of people judging me because he was older than I was. Not loads older, but you know, when you're 16, everything seems massive. I was worried about what my parents would think. I was worried about what my ex-best friend would think, but I never slept with this guy, and this guy treated me like I was fucking royalty. He thought I was amazing, and I wish I could have taken away all of the shame I felt about my body, all of the shame I felt about potentially dating this person, because leading on into my later life, my first sexual experiences were really poor and unfortunate, and they were very, very they weren't nice. And so I really wish I had dated that guy and had that like really supportive kind of boyfriend that I could have had when I was younger. And you know, I wish I didn't care about the judgment of other people, because he worshipped me and I thought he was amazing. And to this day, we're still really good friends. So yeah, I really wish I dated Craig. Yeah. Swap your bedroom. Privacy is better than space. So growing up in my house, so I grew up in a council estate in kind of like a rough-ish area of Cornwall, and it was a 3-bedroom council estate, but obviously parents' room, 2 sisters and me living in the house, and so it was a 3-bedroom house, but there were 4 people, and we couldn't share a room because me and my siblings we were at each other's throat, so like it was a sport. And so my parents, God bless them, they converted the attic for me to live in. And this happened probably when I was about 12 years old. And earlier in my life, I had swapped my large bedroom for my older sister, because my older sister was going to be a teenager and she needed space for sleepovers, and she was going to be a teenage girl, and for some reason I let my parents talk me into doing it, and it's one of my biggest regrets. Yeah. But this is also my older sister who like actively stole my friends growing up, and everyone was like, oh, it's fine, it's because she's a girl. And so I think this is about swapping bedrooms with my younger sister, because at one point my younger sister wanted the loft room, and the loft room didn't have a door, it had like a hatch, so there was very little privacy. So I wish I had swapped back into the box room. Next one, Deanna is not really your friend. Okay. Okay, so when I was going to school, I hung out with I hung out with 2 different groups of people. I hung out with like a nerdy arty group, which was very much like me and who I am much more authentically to myself. And then I hung out with some like mid-level popular girls. And of that group of people, literally one of them is only still my friend, and that's Catherine. Hi Catherine, love you. But growing up, I idolized one of my friends called Deanna, or Dee Dee is what we called her growing up. And she was an absolute nightmare in terms of trying to get any like reciprocal, like I was such a throwaway friend to this person, and I grew up with them until I was 18 years old. We got matching tattoos. Don't get a matching tattoo with Deanna, 16-year-old Stephanie. Don't do it. Because I went off to university and she immediately replaced me with someone else, and we literally haven't seen each other since. So she's not really your friend. Don't lose sleep over the fact that you feel like she doesn't like you, because newsflash, she doesn't really care. So, you know, we live and learn. This was quite transition. Okay, don't let doctors dictate to you. So growing up, my transition was really difficult because I had a lot of doctors question whether or not I was transitioning for the right reasons, whether or not I knew what I was doing, whether or not I actually wanted to take hormones. It took me 1.5 years to get hormones after they were prescribed because my doctor quoted religious reasons. And it delayed my transition. Me allowing doctors to make me second guess myself really delayed my transition. And so if there are any trans teenagers watching, you're a patient. The doctor's duty of care is to you, is to your needs. You don't have to answer their questions. You don't have to jump through their hoops. You transition however you want to. I wish I had stood up to my doctors more, because it was only when I started to stand up to my doctors when I was 15 years old that they actually started to take my transition seriously. And my fringe is really annoying me, but that's a different matter. So yeah, I wish I didn't let doctors dictate to me. Stop letting your body hold you back. So I've always been really self-conscious about my body, whether it's my height or my size or my feet or my face or my tits, like whatever it is. So I think that something that I really wish I could go back and tell my younger self is that she looks beautiful and lovely and all of those things. And so yeah, I really wish I could go back and tell her not to let her body dictate who she should be or her sexual experiences and things like that, because she's going to want to explore things and she's going to feel like she's not worthy of doing that because her body is trans. And so I would love to go back and tell her that it's okay. Don't let your family make you feel bad about not going camping. Okay. 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 So growing up, my family went camping all the time. And when I was 16 years old and I was going off and I was studying, you know, I wanted to go off and study fashion at college, and I wore heels and short shorts, and I stopped going camping. And my family kind of tried to make me feel bad about it, like I was trying to be posh or like I thought I was worthy of something else. And it wasn't that, I just didn't like going camping. So 16-year-old Stephanie, if you're watching, 2 things. First of all, don't take high heels camping, because you will ruin those polka dotted heels, and you know which ones I'm talking about. And the second thing, don't let people make you feel bad. Your interests are your interests. Spend your time how you want to spend your time. It doesn't matter that you're not going with the family camping, because you don't get on with your sisters at the moment anyway. So stay at home, do your own thing, have a great time, okay? Don't let anyone make you feel bad about not going camping, because here's the thing, you're not a mud person. And 10 years later, you're still not really a mud person. I mean, you went to Glastonbury once, you had a great time, but there wasn't very much mud. So I feel like you're fine. I feel like you're fine. Okay. Remember, school isn't forever. And remember that you are someone's crush. So something I learned a little bit too late growing up, and it's something that, so if there's any trans teenagers, growing up in school, you have so many crushes and they feel like this really like huge thing. But I want you to remember that you're someone's crush too, and think about how many people you've had crushes on. That many people or more feel the same way about you, but don't know how to express it, just like you don't know how to express it. So first things first, a lot of people in your school actually fancy you, and that's why they're really, really mean to you. And you will find that out in later life, and you will seek your own revenge via a very cunning form of sexual revenge when you come back to visit from university. But remember that school isn't forever. You're gonna do really well in your GCSEs. You're gonna blow everyone away. You're gonna do better than your sister did. And just follow the path that you're on. College is going to be amazing. You loved college. You're going to love college. And so I hope that you know that school isn't forever and no one really cares about who the head girl is. And don't worry about that time that you made a mistake when you were giving a speech in your tutor class. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Okay? You're fine. Embracing your femininity doesn't make you weak. So for years, it was probably a little bit after 16, but I suppose it's good advice to give a 16-year-old. I was really afraid of embracing my femininity in terms of like dancing and doing drama and things like that. And that was because I didn't really know. I'm hyper femme, and I'm a hyper femme person. I've always been that way. But when I got to college and I did fashion, it was all about like avant-garde fashion and Issey Miyake and, you know, Gareth Pugh, and those people are amazing. But 16-year-old Stephanie, you're not an avant-garde person. You like sparkly shit and vintage cut stuff and irregular choice heels and short shorts and beautifully curled hair. Like, you're just not. You're not an avant-garde person, and that's okay. You don't have to be. Stop letting people tell you that you need to be an avant-garde person, because I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. Okay? No. Okay. So, change will come, I promise. Pursue your dream. Okay, so growing up, I had two passions, and that was art and fashion is like one kind of thing, and music. So for a very, very long time, I wanted to sing, and I wanted to do that as my career, but I never found the confidence to do so. And also the other thing I wanted to do, I really wanted to model. So I pursued fashion design because I felt like I wasn't capable enough to be a professional singer. Although with training, I really think that I should have done that. Yeah. And I really wanted to be a model. My dream was to be a model, like a runway, catwalk, like all of that. That was my dream for years. And so I would love to say to my 16-year-old self, pursue it, go for it, you know, try different things. There's a fly on my head. I don't know what's happening, but pursue your dreams, do modeling, do all of the things, because one thing that you don't realize right now, but you will realize later, is being trans is actually an asset. It's a commodity that people will value in the future, despite everything that's going on at the moment. So pursue your dreams, sing and model, and do all of the creative shit that you want to do, because why not? Okay. And then the last thing I wrote, this like very last thing on my list, says, remember how lucky you are. And now I think that this is much more apparent because of the current climate I'm in, and because I wanted to make this video. So obviously, recently in the United Kingdom, a young trans 16-year-old was lost. And I say lost as if they had gone somewhere. They were murdered, they were killed for being a trans person. And so I think that it's so easy to realize how lucky I was, you know, as a 16-year-old, although I struggled with everybody, and I had, you know, my own struggles, probably like she did, I had a wonderful and supportive network of people and friends. I had boys that wanted to date me, although I really should have taken him up on that. Sorry about that. And I was expressing myself, and I, you know, had families who would pay for my medical travel, and a lot of people wouldn't do that. And I passed, even though I was in school, and even though everyone was still dead naming me. And yeah, I want my younger self to know how lucky she was. I wanted to keep going with YouTube. Oh my God, when I was 16 years old, I started a YouTube channel. My mum told me not to because she didn't want me to film in her kitchen. I wish I wish I had stuck with it and documented my entire transition. Mum, I am blaming that one entirely on you. And so yeah, I want her to know how like very lucky she is. We love you. Okay, so yearbook. I will take pictures of what I'm about to show you and put them up on the screen. This is a picture of me from my prom that just like happens to be in there. I will take a picture of that picture and I'll put it in there. Okay, so these are all my like heads of year, and obviously I can't show you pictures of teenagers, although these are all adults now, although I think some of them might be dead. Yeah. 11SG. So that was my tutor group. We made it. Though I've only been your tutor for 3 years. Oh, so that was from my tutor. Oh, this page is ripped. Okay. Stephanie Stevens. Funniest, most embarrassing moment. Gossiping to Inez, Laura, Daisy, Catherine, Deanna, and Nicole in art while finishing my Shakespeare project. My favourite subject is media, and my future ambition is to become a fashion designer and begin my own fashion empire. This like ultra pose picture, I've got like my fingers splayed. That's pretty iconic, but I can see my roots because I have like naturally like reddish hair, as you can see at the moment, and I was dyeing it black. So yeah, that's what's going on in there. Award winners, oh my God, I love this. So I got most changed since year 7. And my teachers had to ask me if I was okay with that. And I also got runner up most likely to be famous. So still waiting. And then I got my little class photo in there. Love it. So that's my yearbook from Polter School. And then this is my leavers book. Now I'm not gonna go through the whole thing and read everything. And I don't know why it's like Marvel. I don't know. That was what was popular at the time. I never really liked it. I think I was trying to fit in. So what do we have? First one says latest haul. Love it, from my cousin Chloe. We love you, Chloe. Stephanie from Jade, from Kamana. Mrs. Hughes, she called me an 11KH wannabe, which is totally fair because I wanted to be in her tutor. Courtney, who I'm still friends with to this day, hope you have an amazing time at college and get everything you want. I hope life goes well for you and you become what you want. Although we've had multiple arguments, because we did argue a lot. Sup, Courtney? I still treat you like my little sister. I will say things to you, but as soon as anyone else does, I will not allow it. You will always be my baby, love you forever. Courtney. Oh, Courtney. Maddie, Cynthia. Kira, who was in my tutor group. Steph. Darling, don't forget me when you're famous. You're a lovely girl that has got shit from stupid people. Don't listen to the haters with a Z. Love you millions, you lovely girl, Kira. Oh my God, emotions. Someone's pen ran out halfway through this one, that's so funny. Hannah Orchard, Steph, you're lovely. There's always a great atmosphere when you're around and you always make me laugh. You're so talented and you'll go far in life, good luck. Oh, thank you, Hannah. Shannon, known you forever, always, been a great friend to me ever since I started Trevin. So this is from one of my good friends, Shannon. Hi, Shannon. You're pretty and funny, keep in touch, love you lots. These are from some of my teachers. Catherine, Steph, I hope you have a wonderful time at college. Don't forget me when you're rich and get free clothes, yeah? But yeah, spelled Y-E. Don't be a stranger, you're very lovely. Good luck for the future, love, Catherine. Dearest Steph, what can I say? It's been a journey that's been up and down. I hope you've reached a place that you're happy to be and can only get better. Keep in touch and remember me and have a good life, Mrs. Hendy. Oh, Mrs. Hendy, I love you so much. Mrs. Hendy made my schooling, like, you know, decent. Love that. And this one's from Deanna, so we're not gonna read that one. No, we're not. Bye. From Daisy, from Mrs. Owens. Oh, my sweet Stephanie, how much this year has changed you. We've had smiles and tears and everything in between. I have watched you grow into a strong young lady, literally. Brilliant. Oh my god, that's so funny. And I know that you will grow into an even stronger woman. Just remember to think and question, look to find truth and be true, and you will find happiness. And when you become rich and famous, remember your sad media teacher that desperately needs fashion help. Love you lots, Mrs. Venables. Oh my god, that's so cute. From Mrs. Sullivan. Dear Steph, you're the student I admire most because through everything you have been strong and determined. You know who you are and have so much confidence, which I think is fantastic. Good luck in whatever you decide to do. I will see you on the big screen one day, I'm sure. Love, Mrs. Sullivan. P.S. Sorry for forgetting you on St. Michael's Mel because I ran away from the group and then I got left on an island. Stephanie, wow, wow, you've had such a transformation. We grew up together and have had good and bad times. Yes, we did. Mrs. Sushams wrote in pink pen. I love that she wrote in pink pen. Oh my god, this is so cute. I wasn't expecting this to be so sweet. My maths teacher's in here. The boy I had a crush on. To Steph, good luck for the singing future, best wishes. Oh. Good old Dan. I asked him to prom. He was the only boy I asked to prom. He said no. He was the head boy. So, you know, those really attainable dreams. This is so cute. Okay, from Mrs. Gorkridger. You made it and I'm proud of how you have coped with everything going on in your life. Aim high and I'm sure that you will succeed. I shall be waiting in the catwalks for your first collection. I think that said watching and I think I read it wrong. Some of these people's handwriting is atrocious. This page is upside down. I don't know what happened with this. But the one thing I really wanted to get to in this, oh, from Liam. We didn't speak that much, but you're easy to get along with. Thanks. Steph, it has been a true delight watching you grow into such a super young lady. It's also been an absolute pleasure to be your teacher and a confident head of the year. So this is what I wanted to get to at the end of this. Is this to me, from me? Dearest Stephanie, it's me, brackets, you. Look at this in 30 years and remember you're beautiful and strong. This book is proof of the people you've inspired. Never second guess yourself. Good luck and so much love. And then I signed it with my full signature. So that's the video. That's me talking to my 16-year-old self and reminiscing about who I was when I was at school. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, put a comment down below. If there's anything you want to know about me transitioning as a teenager, then that's fine. I'm happy to do like a transitioning as a teenager kind of video. Sorry I've been playing with my hair so much, but it's been recently cut and I'm loving this, but I didn't curl the fringe very well and so it's doing this weird, anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will be seeing you next week for another one. Bye. Ooh, that was a long one.